One silly dream. On Monday, Mr. Leva announced that we would have a math test later in the week. This wasn't a pretest. This would be a recorded grade. I panicked just thinking about it. Luckily, I was doing well in other classes, especially social studies. Mrs. Gardner asked us to discuss our projects. Some of the students hadn't started yet, but I was right on schedule. I talked about asking for sponsors, and Gumwad talked about searching for dogs, running into and having slushies at Sonic. After everyone gave an update, Mrs. Gardner said, "Since a few of you are behind, let's take 15 minutes to catch up. Write out a plan for accomplishing your goal, and for those of you who have already tried the first steps, write a narrative about your experience so far." "How do I write out a plan for picking up trash?" Patty whispered. She was definitely resisting this assignment, but she opened her notebook anyway. I took up my own paper and wrote, "My friend Patty said people would tear off their own toenails before helping me raise money for cancer research." I didn't believe her, but now I know she's right, and went on describing in detail all the variations of "can't help" I'd heard as I knocked on door after door. Then, because I hated to be so negative, I described the people who did help, like Miss Alderetti and the man who thought I was a Girl Scout. "Finish your thoughts," Mrs. Gardner said when the class was about to end. I completed my sentence and then glanced at Patty's page. She had drawn a tattered cardboard box, a crushed soda can, and a banana peel. "Trash," she said. Then she tore out the page and wadded it. "Real trash." I had to take my science book to the cafeteria. I hadn't read the assigned chapter because I was so busy with my promesa over the weekend. I was frantically skimming the pages when Patty arrived. "Why are you studying during lunch?" she asked. "Because I have a quiz this afternoon and I didn't have a chance to study." I quickly glanced over the bold print, words in the chapter, and tried to memorize the definition. But concentrating was difficult when my friends were nearby. As soon as Shantae took her seat at the lunch table, she said, "Gumwad and Ileana told me about your weekend." I glanced at them and they nodded. I couldn't believe my friends were talking about me again. Why were they going to stop sharing my business with the whole world? Even if they weren't saying anything negative, it still bothered me. Shantae must have noticed because she said, "I'm your friend, remember? I need to know these things. Besides, I knew you wouldn't get a lot of names. I dreamed it. You should have talked to me. I would have saved you some time." "And when exactly did you have this dream?" I asked, feeling myself getting impatient. Honestly, I had a lot on my mind. The last thing I needed was to hear another one of Shantae's fake predictions. "Friday night before you went looking for sponsors. And I'm supposed to believe you?" Shantae crossed her arms. "Yes, you're supposed to believe me. Just ask Patty. She knows all about my dream." Patty was tearing her napkin in half, but she stopped in the middle of the rip, looked at Shantae, and said, "You told me you dreamed about Erica and Gumwad were looking for candy in a dark, scary forest, and then it must mean they were going to dress up as Hansel and Gretel for Halloween." "That's so cute," Ileana said. "You think Alejandro and I could dress up as a fairy tale couple too? We could be Snow White and Prince Charming. That is, if he really likes me. I can't tell. What do you guys think?" No one had a chance to answer because Gumwad turned to me and said, "I don't mind being Hansel if you want to be Gretel. We can give gum to the little kids." He reached in his pocket and pulled out a handful of gumballs. I saw lint on one and wanted to gag. "I don't believe in trick-or-treating anymore," I said. "No one in my neighborhood gives out candy. I live next to the most selfish people on the planet." "Hello," Shantae interrupted. "Can we get back to the real subject? We're supposed to be talking about my dream." "What else is there to say?" I asked. "You had some silly cartoon dream that, in my opinion, has nothing to do with what happened this weekend. You can't take dreams so literally, Erica. They're not facts. They're symbols. Just think about it. The candy symbolizes the money you were trying to earn. The dark, scary forest symbolizes the rude people you met." Patty was tearing her napkin into smaller and smaller pieces. "I liked it better when Erica and Gumwar were going to dress up as Hansel and Gretel," she admitted. "It's such a cool story, especially the part with the witch throws the kids in the pot of boiling water." "I don't know about symbols," Ileana said, "but I do see similarities between Shantae's dream and what really happened." "Thank you," Shantae said. "That's the problem with dreams," I explained. "People can interpret them however they want. They aren't predictions about anything. And even if they were, what's the point? What's the point if they're always so symbolic? You have to decode them all the time, and if you don't make sense until it's too late, for once and for all, no more predictions. I'm going to make a believer out of you, Shantae decided. It'll never happen. She ignored me. I'm going to tell you my dreams, she went on. I'm going to tell you as soon as they occur. Then we can see what happens next. That way we can test my abilities. What a great idea, Gumwad said. Can you tell when you have a dream about me? I'd love to get a preview of my life, especially if it involves something like me getting hit by lightning or chased by a tornado. Sure thing, Shantae said, and she and Gumwad shook on it. And can you let me know which guy is like me in the romantic way and which one only as a friend, Ileana added. If I dream about it, I'll let you know. Are you serious? I asked Shantae. You're going to call me every morning and report your dreams? Well, not every morning, since I don't remember my dreams sometimes, and not every dream, since you're not the only person in my subconscious mind. But if I do dream about you, I'm going to call you. You can count on it. She doesn't mind calling me every morning, Patty said, her napkin pieces as small as confetti now. Shantae lightly punched her. That's because you need a wake-up call, or both of us will be late for school. They often carpooled together, and at least once a week they had to run to class so they wouldn't be late. Ileana jumped in with her opinion. I think you should try it, Erica. What can it hurt? We'll finally know whether or not Shantae is a psychic. I took a minute to consider the plan. Maybe Ileana was right. Maybe this was a good idea. Shantae wanted to teach me a lesson, but she was the one who had a lesson to learn. If her predictions did not come right, I'd like to say I told you so, and then I'd be free of Shantae's dreams forever, because she could never predict the future, just like I could never make a perfect score in math. It's a deal, I decided. I held out my hand, and Shantae shook it, the whole time with one of her big, fleshy smiles.